A real estate attorney is an important part of a transaction because typically, for most people, this is the most important investment they're going to make in their entire life. As contracts get more and more complex, even though they are oftentimes form contracts, you need someone who's experienced to review those contracts for you to make sure that obviously the terms are fair, that your money's protected. If you're a buyer, you put down a certain amount of earnest money. If you don't adhere to all the terms of the contract, you run the possibility of losing that money. As an attorney, it's my job to come in there and one, protect your initial interest, protect your interest throughout the transaction, and make sure your earnest money is never at risk. So on the seller's side, you need someone to advocate for you. You need someone to prepare the documents for you, to clear title issues. There's just a lot of work that goes into it that I think when people first look into buying a home, they overlook. There are a lot of things that can go wrong in the transaction. If you aren't well versed with the contracts, if you haven't read all of the minutiae and the details that go into these things, and some of the more common ones I think are contingencies. So for example, there will be a lot of contingencies in the contract if you're a buyer that will say, one of the big ones is your financing contingency. This contract and my responsibility to perform is contingent on me obtaining my financing. Now, if you don't get that financing by a certain date and you don't cancel by that certain date, you are at risk for losing your earnest money. As an attorney, it's my job to step in and one, make sure that your financing is progressing along throughout the entire process. Two, protecting you with that financing contingency date. So if that date is coming up and it's obvious that you're not going to get that clear to close, we need to timely extend that date or protect your right to cancel a deal and get your earnest money back. Another issue that comes up often are title and survey matters. So when I'm buying a property, I want to know that the person conveying it to me has clear title. It's only in their name. No one's going to come back after the closing and say, hey, John and Jane didn't actually own the property completely. I have some interest in that. It's going to cause problems. I want to move into my house. I want to get my family in there, move my possessions in there, not worry about it anymore. So you need an attorney to come in there and make sure that you're getting clear title, that no one else can claim an interest on your property. As professionals, we need to work for the best interest of our clients. It's happened too many times where I've seen other attorneys and agents who aren't on the same page, and all it does is cause a little bit of confusion, misinformation throughout the process. Now, we understand that agents typically know more than anyone else on this transaction, oftentimes even our clients. They've been there with them through the beginning. They know the ins and outs of the property. They've walked the property with the clients. They know what the other side is like, what the other agent is like. And we really rely on them to share that information with us because it's something we can't do without them. So what makes our office different than most other attorneys is the experience and focus that we bring to real estate transactions. So a lot of times you'll have attorneys who have a general practice or focus on other certain areas of the law and will do real estate transactions on the side. A lot of those attorneys will overlook the many nuances that are required in real estate transactions, whether it's when you're dealing with certain municipalities, associations, tax issues. There are just a lot of things that I don't think people understand are complicated and part of the transaction. So there are a lot of things that are specific to real estate and the different areas depending where you're buying the house, whether it's certain municipality requirements, association requirements, things along those lines that aren't uniform across every single transaction. So it is a very nuanced area of law, and our firm focuses on that.